When I was a kid, Dover School in Regina, there were 3 kids that would always torment me. These were kind of a group bullying situations. The 3 of them would, gang up on somebody, torment them, then move on to the next person. So they had a well-deserved reputation of being bullies. Now, they weren't the biggest people in the class. I'm not a very big guy myself. And when I was 10, they would have been same grade, but about maybe an inch, at the most 2 inches smaller than me, each of them. And the 3 of them, they'd do whatever they can. They'd throw rocks in the summer, or they'd throw snowballs in the winter. One day, it was really cold winter night, and I was heading home from a friend's house, and the 3 of them were prowling around, and they decided to pick on me. So they're yelling at me, and they're starting to throw snowballs, and they'll come up behind me and start pushing me. And then, of course, when you turn around, they step back, and then the other guy pushes you. So I'm pushing them back and forth. So, and this one time, they keep on doing this on my way home. So, they would push or attack, and then they would back off. And then all 3 of them would run 3 different directions. Well, I rounded a corner, and we were kind of on a street where either they come towards me or they go away from me, and it's, all one direction, either or. I decided I was going to chase them. So again, they came up, and they're trying to push me and throw snowballs, whatever, and I throw snowballs back, whatever. If they push me, then I'll try to chase them, push them back, right? Well, I decided I'm going to chase them down. So they came up, they pushed, I started chasing after them, and they had a head start, and they had turned right down a back alley, and then in that back alley there was a T intersection. So I ran after them. They turned right down a back alley, and then I knew that back alley, because that was my back alley. About 4 houses down from where they turned in, I think, was my house. So I was quite familiar with that back alley. But there is an escape route. However, it had snowed, so I could track them. So I follow their tracks, and I come to the T intersection, and then in the summer I wouldn't have known if they had gone straight or turned left. I could see in the snow that they had turned left, all of them. I decided to turn left, and I kept really quiet. Now, I had gone a little ways down that back alley, and then I saw their tracks went off to the right, and our neighbors had these really cheap fences with the horizontal boards, really easy to climb if you're a kid. And I saw the snow on those boards had been knocked off by boots and mitts. And I just stopped and I listened, and I didn't hear anything. And they're so noisy. I mean, they're always chattering, and when they're running, I didn't hear a thing. I said to myself, I bet they are on the opposite side of this fence. So in the back alley, it was a place for, supposed to be for fire engines to get to. So it was graded during the summer once in a while, very seldom. This particular back alley had been graded once in the winter. And what that did is it left these gigantic blocks of ice. Solid ice. I decided I'm going to pick up something and throw it at them on the other side of the fence. The only thing available was a gigantic block of ice. Now, ice is very heavy, and the piece of ice that I picked up, I'm going to show you with my arms. When I was 10, okay, this is 10 years old, it was like about this, which is, say, 3 feet, and it's by about 1.5 feet, 3 feet by 1.5 feet, by 1.5 feet. You could calculate that out for yourself, but the weight, it felt to me like it was probably 40 or 50 pounds. I lugged it up on my shoulder like this, okay? And I balanced it. And I start climbing with 3 points of contact. Arm, foot, foot. Arm, foot, foot. And I was very quiet, but I figure they must know I'm coming. I just crested the fence, and I did it very, very carefully, because I went straight up. I didn't peek over until the block of ice was above the top level of the fence. I got up to that point, leaning back, and then I leaned forward, and I saw all 3 of them crouch down. And I just heard one of them whisper, "There he is." Okay? I saw all 3 of their faces turn and look up at me. The guy closest to the fence, he starts standing up, okay, like this. As he started his upward stance, I just tossed the block of ice over at the top of the fence. They didn't know I was holding a block of ice. A 50-pound solid block of ice. This is not crushed snow. This is not compacted snow. This is ice that had been melted and refrozen. Absolutely hard as steel. Like slow motion, I can see this in my head. It was so traumatizing to me. The block of ice took a beautiful little slow tumble. And I could see from his shoulders, the block of ice blocked my view of his face and his head, but I could tell from his shoulders that were still visible that he was in the process of standing up, and this ice block was coming down. And I heard this. The ice block didn't even slow down. It hit him, knocked him out, blood all over the place. The ice block hit us, by the time it hit the ground, crushed his head, and it slid off to one side. I saw him lying there unconscious. His 2 friends took off, and I was just scared out of my mind. I figured I just murdered a kid. I quickly climbed down the fence, I ran home, and I told no one. I told no one? Oh yeah, right. As I was running away, I heard this "F you" off in the distance, and I knew I'd scored a win, but it might cost me jail time. So I got home, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody this story. I told it, I think, once last year to one of my relatives, and that was it. And then this is the second telling of that story. I almost killed someone when I was 10. Whew, that was scary. I mean, somebody bullying you and tormenting you, it's not worth getting killed over. Oh yeah, right. I didn't see the guy for a week at school. Finally he showed up, and he had a giant scar on his head, all shaved, stitches like Frankenstein. He never said a GD word to me again, and I don't think he bullied anybody again either. So I taught those kids a lesson. That's not the only time Mr. Me had to lay out somebody when I was a kid. More to come.